ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first panel discussion of the debut edition of the UAE Restaurants Group Food Service Summit. Thank you. Mr. Alabar's gig, it's always a tough one to follow, but I think I have some superstars here on the panel, and we will do just fine. CEO Cookbook. What's the secret recipe? Let me tell you a story. And the story is about Starbucks, the undisputed leader in coffee. So back in 1980s, when Starbucks was starting out, it was run by this trio called H2O. Howard Schultz, you all know. Then there was Howard Behar and Orrin Smith. These three were really running the company. Howard Schultz was very impressionable, 34-year-old young man, but he was guided mainly by Howard Behar and Orrin Smith, who were the oldies running the show. Now, Howard Behar was a corporate executive who left his corporate background finally to decide, okay, let me see what the world is like working for a small coffee company. So when he joined in 1988, Starbucks had about 20-odd locations in the Seattle area. Howard Behar soon realized, working for Starbucks, after spending time in coffee shops and in the office, talking to customers, talking to the team members, he quickly realized this, that we are not in the business of serving coffee to people. Okay, Howard Behar realized we are not in the business of serving coffee to people. We are in the business of people serving coffee. After that realization, he made sure people always came first in Starbucks. Of course, Howard Behar went on to become the president of the American division. Finally, when he retired a few years ago, from around 20 locations, Starbucks had grown to 15,000 locations. But that company always put people first. That was their secret recipe for success. In fact, one of the decisions they took early in the 90s was providing health care for every employee in Starbucks. And this was long before health care became a national issue in the US. In fact, Inside News said the cost of providing health care actually equaled the cost of coffee. But they never gave up, and look at what Starbucks is today. So, I also have some mantras of my own, which I implement in Papa John's, but we'll talk about that later if we have time. Let's start with George Kunnappally. Nandos has been synonymous with peri-peri and grilled chicken. George, tell us how Nandos evolved over time. I think Nandos has been around since the 2000s in UAE. What is that secret?
Hi, good morning. It's an absolute honor to be here and to talk to all of you. We launched in Dubai in 2002, so this is home. We grew with the dreams of Dubai. We owe everything to this city-state. And unlike in South Africa, where the brand is originally from, we did not come into this market as a QSR concept, but we launched it as a premium casual diner. Just below Chili's and way above KFC was the positioning. And 22 years later, we have 21 restaurants, 2 dark kitchens. And this city and this country have been extremely supportive. And we can't thank the leadership, the business-friendly policies, and the overall love and affection of our consumers. Chicken is universal, but you have all made us so successful, and we couldn't be more thankful. And really happy to be here.
Thank you, George. Let's ask Panchali. You've navigated this world of hospitality, what, over 22, 3 years now?
22, yes.
22. You set up Atelier House of Hospitality, and I heard somewhere yesterday in the hotel show that now you have 30 plus brands globally, and
Yes.
many of them in Dubai. And I'll go to your recent exciting introduction later, but tell us, how have you managed to maintain the quality and standards in all your restaurants in the UAE so well?
Good morning, everybody. I think I believe in 3 non-scandalous F's word. Those words are family, faith, and force of nature. And I think this is what the base of our company has been, established in 2017. Started with 4 people. Today we are close to 900 people all across the globe. 32 restaurants, another 8 coming up very soon. We are in US, in Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and India. I think the first F, family, is treat everybody together. Have a good background support system, even with your family, that allows you to go and tread ahead. Faith, we always say everybody works hard, but that little bit of destiny, a little bit of luck, faith, belief in yourself, belief in God, whatever works for everybody else is important. And I think what has been very important for us in the company is we've all been forces of nature. We have been hungry, we have been ambitious, but we've been very organic. We have taken a slow and a steady path in building up the company, and not been in a rush. But I can't say this now because I have 8 restaurants opening this year, but yes, these things are the foundations of what the company's built and we are moving forward with.
No, absolutely. Something in common with us when we recruit team members. I tell my HR team that we've got to be hiring only PhDs. And they go, PhDs to work in restaurants? And I say, yes. We need people with passion, hunger, and drive. That's the PhD we always look for when we recruit people. All right, next, let's go to Romil. Romil, Brooklyn Creamery is your brand. And you offer consumers ice creams without sugar, keto, no carbs, and yet you try to thrive in a market full of ice cream operators who have the traditional dessert treat. How do you manage that?
Okay. Have you tried the ice cream?
I have. I love it.
Have you ordered it again?
3 times.
There you go. Job done. Yeah, I think as a business with a legacy in ice cream, we've been making ice cream since 1941. Without going into too much of history, we're now in the 4th generation. And I think, like most businesses evolved, so did ours. The Brooklyn Creamery was born in a single store in New York just before the pandemic. And overnight, everything changed. So all plans to do stores, all plans to create experience, all went out of the window. And we pivoted to being a delivery-first brand. And we started in India, because that's where we were based. We were the first brand in India to deliver ice cream. But every single learning of 30 years of running hotels and restaurants, and that's what I've done for 30 years, was put into creating the same experience we'd create in a restaurant back in someone's house. Today, the Brooklyn Creamery is, of course, here. We're all across the UAE, ably assisted by Noon to be able to get our products to people's homes. Like you pointed out, we have 4 ranges. We have a low-cal, sugar-free range. Actually, low-cal and sugar-free cuts across every single product that we do. We have keto, we have vegan, and then, of course, we have multiple formats as well. So it's been fascinating, and I think every bit of learning we've had from hospitality, we've put into now running a FMCG dessert business. So the only way is up from here. I think everything that we've done, we followed 3 core rules. Everyone that we hire for attitude because you can impart skill. 2, taste is everything. Because once you try a product and like it, you will order it again. And lastly, we don't micromanage anyone. We set a framework and we give them freedom within the framework. That's it.
Absolutely. Empowering your team members is extremely important. And we are the only international pizza brand at Papa John's to be doing a vegan range of pizzas. And our experience has been really good. Is that the same with you, with your vegan range of ice creams?
It's actually been fantastic. The dairy-free products that we do have actually grown tremendously. It actually prompted us to create a second brand as well, which we just launched in the UAE literally 10 days ago. But delivery first again. It's called Plant Away, only vegan. And if you at Papa John's are doing a lot of vegan stuff, I have another entire range of products that we can talk about, but not on this panel.
Excellent. Faisal, welcome to the United Arab Emirates. Faisal is from Saudi Arabia and from Cenomi. And you have a number of brands you operate yourselves, including Subway, Cinnabon. Am I right?
That's correct.
How do you manage keeping all those brands afloat and doing well in Saudi Arabia?
You're absolutely right. First of all, I was so happy to hear what you said just when you introduced Howard Schultz, because I spent 13 years working for Starbucks with Al-Shaya when I started my career. And when you said F&B, or we're not in the restaurant business, we're in the people business, that's absolutely correct. And I took this culture with all the employers I worked with, and now that I work with Cenomi F&B, we're one of the largest F&B operators in Saudi Arabia with more than 500 restaurants alone in Saudi Arabia. And the fact that we're focusing on people made a lot of sense for us, starting from the head office, and it cascades down to the restaurants that we operate. That was a secret, one of the secrets of our success with Cenomi F&B. It starts with the culture, it starts with the people, and then you have to cascade it down. So I was really glad to hear about this, and this grew with me after spending more than 12 years with Starbucks, Tapan.
Excellent. Yeah, Starbucks, undisputed leader, and people first, just right. Faye, we come to Mythos. How many of you have been to Mythos? Isn't that a wonderful Greek restaurant? And Kilikio by Mythos. And you also do, this is my favorite, NOLA, New Orleans, Louisiana. 19th century New Orleans inspiration, French influence, Caribbean energy, and of course, Southern American flair. Wow, how do you manage that? No.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's such a privilege to be here amongst you guys. How do we manage? With the challenges and with love and with passion and with being robust every day. Being in this beautiful city has been such an amazing journey. All of the brands have been born in Dubai. Me and my brother started off just about 10 years ago with Nola Mythos and more recently with Kilikio. I think that the most important thing, we're talking about people a lot today, people who are awake, people who are passionate, people who love to do their jobs. Team is number one, always. If you wake up in the morning and approach your day with kindness, with awareness, with meticulousness, and you all come together and allow each person to bring their personality to the table, their individuality to the table, problem solve together, be creative together, the dynamic is exponential. So the most important thing to us and how we do everything is involve every single member of our team in our progress and in our daily grind as well. Yeah.
Wow. Excellent homegrown concepts. And love, passion, absolutely, ticking all the boxes. George Choufany, welcome to this panel. You are from a concept that in itself is an innovation, isn't it? Although Kitopi was born a little before the pandemic, I personally think you are a product of the pandemic, although you are welcome to disagree. But tell us, how do you manage? You have, I think, more than a dozen in-house brands, plus you deal with other brands, including Papa John's in some locations. So, the industry admires you really, Kitopi, and please tell us, what's the secret?
Yep. Hey, everyone. So Kitopi started in 2018, and the focus for the first 3 years and a half was to build the proper infrastructure and to get the operational metrics in place, the financial metrics in place, and to deliver the best customer experience. How we were able to evolve and to manage this complex business in 5 countries, and now we're like above 6,000 employees. It started by the same thing that I shared with all the people, all the panel here, through the people. Okay, this is the core of everything we do, is by creating a workplace, a safe environment where they can thrive and grow. So that is fundamental for me. The second fundamental is having a customer-first mindset, which is driven by the obsession with quality. And this helps us to satisfy the world's appetite and to create joy, which is our purpose. What for me is the enablers are empowerment, which is number one. That helps the team to navigate through challenges faster. And therefore, it helps also the innovation as well as the accountability. The second enabler is, in such a fast-paced market and a complex business that we manage, moving fast and learning from the mistakes is something that we really embed in our culture, and it's one of our values. And really this helps us to make sure that every idea we have, we implement it fast, we assess it fast, and most of the occasion we kill it fast, but we learn, we capture these learnings, and we move on. So yeah, that's it.
Wonderful. Your think tank, hats off to them for so many innovations in different spheres. Now let's talk about some of the challenges that our industry is facing. Let's go back to George. Rising costs in the industry. What's your take? And what do you think is required to tackle this menace?
I think it's an interesting question. There are costs that we as a business house can manage, and there are costs that we would need help from external stakeholders to support us in. So let's go back a few years, or probably a few decades, when city-states like Dubai had a fee-based system to fund infrastructure and offer the business opportunities that we all appreciate. And then to come on par with the rest of the world, we introduced a tax code, and then we have a fee-based and tax-based economy. And while it's extremely supportive and collaborative, as Mr. Al-Abbas said, ours is a business which works on razor-thin margins. And obviously, as investors, we look at every element of cost and where we can rationalize and optimize it. And we would be far more competitive and be able to support the Dubai dream and the growth of the economy if there is further relaxation in fees as the tax code takes complete effect with VAT and corporate tax. Having said that, we are more than happy with the corporate tax structure. Like if we are profitable, all the more reason to share a part of that with the government so that we can build this infrastructure and make us far more competitive and far better. The other element that we find challenging is the occupancy costs. But when I say occupancy costs, It's always misunderstood as why are we trying to regulate it when it's a free market economy? We are not. What we are suggesting as a business is not the entry point when it comes to rent in with one particular landlord versus another one next to it or beside it. But when the renewal lease comes up, if we have clarity regarding what would be that increase, we are able to project the business case over 5 or 7 years, because you put in 4 million dirhams to build a restaurant and you haven't returned your investment in 3 years, and then suddenly your rent goes up 30%, then you have completely destroyed your business case. So that's the only area where we are asking for clarity or a regulatory intervention, similar to the residential real estate. Nobody has a problem paying top dollar in the world's best mall or much lower in a community center. It's my business case. If I want to pay 1,500 dirhams a square foot and go into a super regional mall, perfectly fine. But the increases at the time of renewal and the percentages, that's where we need some support and some clarity. Not restricting it, but probably regulating it would help.
No, I agree. I think this is a common theme across restaurant operators, where everyone would like to see equitable relationship between landlords and tenants.
Certainly.
And I mean, we really should strive to reach a point where there is enough food in everyone's plate. And that's what we all want. So yes, well said. Let me go to Saudi Arabia. And let's talk about the shifting consumer preferences. Consumers' dining habits are changing, right? Especially post-pandemic. Convenience played a big part. Now experiential dining is kind of making a comeback. Where do you think Saudi Arabia is, and where do you think your restaurants and your consumers are?
Yeah. So if there's one word I would summarize what happened post-COVID, it would be convenience. Today, I think in the restaurant industry, it's so important that the platforms see how they can integrate convenience. When I say convenience, there's a lot of areas that we can cover. One, for instance, how we adapt technology. How we adapt technology to drive our digital sales. How do we adapt technology to drive our drive-through locations? Convenience for us now, we're only focusing on drive-through locations in Saudi Arabia. Why? Because it's so convenient these days for the consumer to drive and pick up their sandwiches or their coffee through the drive-through locations. Technology, when it comes to front of house and back of house operations, so important. Part of our 3 years ago, Tapan, when I joined the business, we either had to shut down or grow. We had no other choice. So we've done a fantastic turnaround plan that took the business today to a very sustainable business. One of the areas we focused on was to change the system, front of house and back of house system. So we can extrapolate more data, we can take faster decision within the store level and the head office level. And again, this meets the convenience. So anything that relates to convenience today is something that we really look at within our business.
Oh, great. So that leads me on to another question, for which I need reactions from Romil, and then Faye, and then George. First, Romil, the question is, given this tremendous rise of food delivery, virtual kitchens, pretty much like a part of what Kitopi does, what's the real future of brick and mortar, do you think?
Well, I think people will always need people. You can have as much tech as you want, but human connections and the kind of service that you will get at a brick and mortar restaurant will never change. We're human beings. We crave conversation. We crave a connection all the time. And I say this because I double hat. I run a hospitality business where we own restaurants and hotels. But over the last few years, I've spent a lot of time building a delivery forward business. And I deliver ice cream across 2,000 points of sale across India, Mauritius, Maldives, UAE, Kuwait, and very recently KSA. And every bit of learning that we put into, every bit of learning we had with hospitality which is all experiential when it comes to restaurants and brick and mortar, is what we've tried to build into our delivery business. Not easy to do, but I think while virtual kitchens, delivery kitchens will always, in a post-COVID world, they boomed. Because like you pointed out, convenience is the key. But we don't always want to be cooped up in our four walls and never get out. So I think brick and mortar is here to stay. The occupancy cost notwithstanding, and all the other challenges that the business faces. But people will always need people. That is never going to change.
I think you said something very interesting. People crave conversations. I don't know how many Gen Zs are here and how many of them actually believe that, but I know that my wife was complaining last night that we were together for an hour and I hadn't said a word. But
how long have you been married? That's the question.
But no, fair point. Faye, what is your take?
Well, since brick and mortar survived the pandemic nicely, I think that I agree brick and mortar is here to stay. My take on whether I get something to eat at home through delivery service or not is not whether I feel like having a particular cuisine or particular food. It's basically when I'm lazy and I don't want to cook. So that's what's my driver for getting a delivery at home. It's not that I want to have the experience in my home. I think that a lot of creativity and a lot of energy has been, especially if we see the city, the brick and mortar restaurants, especially in the premium casual, is a very exciting space. A lot of things are happening. You see the awards that have come into the city. For me, it's the most exciting part of the F&B scene in Dubai.
Great. And let's hear from George, who interestingly heads the virtual vertical in Kitopi. So what do you think is the future of your enemies, the brick and mortar?
Okay, so as you know, and you mentioned that earlier, Kitopi is in both businesses. So we are in the virtual business as well as in the brick and mortar. And yes, I believe the brick and mortar is here to stay. It's a hospitality business. Therefore, you cannot create this, no matter how much you try on the delivery business, you cannot create the connection. And, there is this human interaction that was mentioned as well, which resonates a lot. So in the hospitality business, as long as the brick and mortar is creating this ambience and, the sense of belonging, a replication of the home feeling, I believe that they are here to stay. And I'm a big believer, all my life I've been in the brick and mortar. I recently tapped into virtual business and really trying to crack it. But yes, they are here to stay.
Yeah, I think we have to agree. Brick and mortar is not going away. So Gen Z, sorry. Sorry? Will never go away. Completely agree. I'd like to ask you, Panchali, about this wonderful new introduction of a brand you're bringing, Jabru. Please tell us. I don't want to steal your thunder. Go ahead.
All right. So with our company, we like to do very innovative, new things, and sometimes I get slack for it. We did something in India called Inja, which was the world's first Indian-Japanese, and a lot of people are like, how dare you do this? But for now, we're getting a lot of love, so it's fine. But coming to Garbu, which in Arabic means welcome to our humble abode, and I think it was time for our country and for the city to give homage and give respect to the Emirati culture, the cuisine, and the heritage. And I think when this opportunity was presented to me, I jumped on it because, like we said, we like doing new things. So we are about to open Garbu in the next, hopefully very, very soon, in the next 1 month or so. We have the head chef, Younes, right here in the audience sitting with us. Garbu is going to respect and put at helm the Emirati cuisine with Arabic and international. It is about the locals that they grew up eating. So that has influences of the spices from India, from Iran. And what's more important about the concept is that we are going to be celebrating sustainability. And not just sustainability, I'm talking about self-sufficiency. When we're talking about the costs, this is what is important. For us, farm to table, using the local ingredients is fantastic. We wanted to go a level ahead and beyond. And with our partners, Tashkil, we have pretty much designed and produced things in-house. All the plateware that you'll be dining in has been made in UAE with the stamp, and that was important. That's how also you can cut costs because you don't have to import things and pay taxes on them. The furniture that people be sitting inside have been made in-house. The architectural, cultural characteristics that have been designed is all done in-house here. So this is what we're very, very excited about, and I look forward to having you all there.
No, wonderful. Please tell us, where is it going to be?
This is going to be in Nadal Sheba 1, very close to in Maidan, where Tashkil Art Center is.
Lovely.
And this is where it's in partnership with them, and that's where Garbu is going to come in.
Excellent. And please don't miss the chef. Head chef is appearing today later around, is it 3 o'clock?
Yes, so actually, you know, what's interesting is Younes has spent a long time, he's a very well-known international chef. He's worked with a lot of Michelin star restaurants, and people asked, why is a Romanian, and how is a Romanian going to cook Emirati food? But this was his passion. He has been here in the country for the last 1 year, taking workshop, cooking, understanding the local produce, the ingredients, cooking with some chefs who have represented the royal food. And he wanted to learn this. And this is where his journey has been. And probably in one of the sessions today, he will talk more about his experience and what he's about to do.
Great. We wish you all the best with this venture. We always take pride at UAE Restaurants Group when our member concern, they opened such lovely, modern, and yet with a balance of traditional concept. Excellent. Next question, and I'd like to go around, starting with George, with the rise of artificial intelligence, technology in the business, and automation. First, tell us, how are you introducing that into your business? Benefits or no benefits? And finally, are we about to lose the human element in all of this? Or where is the industry going? Please, take it away.
So at Nandos, we have not incorporated tech for the sake of it. Every time we have brought in a tech stack that was based on customer feedback or a genuine need for the business to improve operating efficiencies. So let's take an example of pay at the table. So in Dubai Mall and in Mall of the Emirates, where we have a limitation on seat count and we always have people waiting in queues, we brought in pay at the table to save 9 minutes on a transaction. So that would, over a period of an entire day, give you to turn around to your table one more time. So every time we look at a solution, a software solution, irrespective of whether the market is implementing it en masse, we normally walk away from it if it doesn't add an operating efficiency improvement or there is a specific ask from our customer base. It's never been about everybody is doing it, let's do it. And another element that we have come on board, until a few years ago, we were still taking orders on sheets of paper, and it worked for us. And then again, from a speed of service point of view, and because of customer expectations, we moved to handheld terminals, and it improved our service efficiency levels. Whether it's kitchen display monitors or any of the other tech elements that have recently come into the market, we only bring them into Nandos if it improves our operating efficiency. There's no other reason to bring them in.
Great, thank you. Panchali, Atelier.
So actually, I have something very interesting to share with you all because I just experienced this last week. I was in India and I met with this tech company, and I don't know if this is correct or no, but I've met the first humanoid. And the production of the humanoid is almost close to 70-75%, and the first one should be produced in the next 3 to 6 months as we speak. So one of my restaurants that I'll be opening in Bangalore in India, what we want to try, without making it too gimmicky, is to place one of the humanoids on the bar, which will be able to gauge your motion, your emotion, and be able to give you, it's more like a solitary companion. So if you walk into a bar, this humanoid will be sitting next to you, and I'm just talking about technology, and you're feeling down, you're by yourself. It will not just interrupt, it will be able to do the EQ, see your expressions, your movements, and then be able to start a conversation. So you never have to feel lonely at a bar or in a restaurant, and then you have a companion in there. So this is something I'm looking forward to, and we have to see how we can make this word, like, again, without being too gimmicky, and can it sustain, and does this really help a lot of, with people on the spectrum and who are introverts and don't have companions. How do we do this in a restaurant setting? And it kind of helps, indirectly.
Wow, exciting, scary, I'm not sure. Excellent.
It is
Can't
very
wait.
scary. I saw her tongue moving while she was talking. I was like, how is that possible? So that was
Wow.
exciting.
Unbelievable. Romil.
Well, look, I think when it comes to AI, tech, automation, I think it's a mixed bag from where I come from, because it's a great enabler, and there are certain things that it allows us to do far, far more efficiently and faster. Not necessarily efficiently, but much, much faster than having an individual do something would be. So when it comes to analytics, when it comes to certain processes, for sure. When it comes to great content writing for social media, AI is great, but I don't think it will replace people in the kind of business that we're in. It just goes back to the fact that what I said earlier, I mean, humans are social animals. We are just social beings, and we will always need that connection. Of course, we don't really want to be in a, what's that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger? I forgot. I haven't watched a movie for a while. Terminator, yeah. You really don't, I think everyone envisages a doomsday scenario where you're thinking of the rise of the machines. But yeah, so I think it has its place, and it's definitely doing some good stuff, but it won't replace us. Not yet, in any case.
Yeah, going back to people crave conversations, but now it looks like humanoid can do the conversation.
Yeah, I
Faisal.
think some of us with teenagers sort of live that in any case. You're like,
True. Faisal.
I've asked my bank, can you have a button, press 2 to kill your virtual assistant? And can I speak to a human being? Because I don't know how many more focus groups we need before we can agree that Eva is not working. Or so every time we have this conversation about AI, and it does enable certain processes, but as a consumer, I should have the option to talk to a human being, whether it's a bank or a telecom giant or an automobile dealership, not having to wait and prompt, and 9 out of 10 times, virtual assistants are a fad. It just doesn't get the job done unless you want some very basic services. And 9 out of 10 times, our customers are not calling to say, orders late. So I'm not a fan of virtual assistants, and I really am at pains to ask service providers to add a button right on top of your service list to say, can I speak to a human being?
No,
Because I'm paying for
absolutely.
it.
I think we live in an age of, an age where all businesses are driven by the P&L, and therefore it finally goes down to the price you pay as the consumer to the business and their costs, and therefore what they can do, how there has to be a balance that every CEO must maintain between the margins they make, the shareholder value they provide, and the value that the consumer gets. As long as the CEOs maintain that, I think we are in business. Otherwise, I agree with you. But George, let me tell you, he's one of a kind amongst us. He has been running this business for so many years, but he can barely manage to crack an egg and scramble it at home. Am I right?
I can get through scrambling an egg, but having run Nandos for 6 years, if anyone was to ask me, can you grill a chicken, that's a whole different ballgame.
As I said, that's yours. Faisal.
Yeah, Look, let me put it this way. We operate more than 500 restaurants in Saudi Arabia. Hundreds of thousands of customers visit our locations on a yearly basis. So we sit on a pile of data that is completely unexploited. And we're proud to say that, yeah, we're very data-driven. So there's a big gap to manage today. So what we've done recently is very simple. We've partnered with an Austrian AI company to create for us dashboards. And those dashboards shouldn't only sit at the head office level. Those dashboards should start from the restaurant level. Our restaurant managers have to be equipped with data. They have to take their own decisions. Today, I'll be very honest with you, and I raise my hands, our restaurants manager are not equipped with data, which means they cannot take proper decisions. So once those dashboards are really running live, one, the store managers or restaurant managers are going to be well equipped. Two, at the head office level, this is where we're going to see different type of data that would help us take decisions with the restaurant managers. So we're still far, but we're getting there, I would say.
Great, thank you, Faisal. Faye.
I think AI is going to be an amazing tool in combination with the human factor. I think both together across all industries, whether it's the medical industry, whether it's restaurants, whether it's hospitality, on government level, airlines, the future is going to look completely different. Just like the internet came and everything changed, the smartphone came, everything changed, AI is here, everything's going to change. Will humans be phased out? Are we going to be talking to humanoids across the board? No, I don't think so. I also think we're in this transition phase, that the tools are here and we don't quite know what to do with them yet. So I think a lot of us, and technology is galloping so fast, and a lot of the sort of C-level or owners, founders who are a bit older, I get like 20 technology emails a day. So just opening and trying to see which one of these might be of interest, filtering through that is a task with my skill set. So there's a lot going on, but I think we're still in that phase where we're all trying to figure it out and what best to do with it. For sure, like George, I believe the benefit is when you can streamline your operations, where you can boost your top line, manage people. We do all of our functions in-house, so we do use a lot of tech to help us make decisions and to know what to do with our data. But there's so much more.
Absolutely. The tech company who also does food.
No, we do food, and tech is enabler. And you know, it's part of Kitopi's DNA, but still quality and customer experience comes first. And I agree with Faisal, when you manage you know, a huge pile of data, the way we use AI is to identify pattern and, you know, be faster on identifying the challenge and how we are going to react to it. And I think in general, the AI is here to enable or to unlock more time for be it a commis to do a better product, or a waiter to have more time to interact with the customer. And yes, it is being used as enabler in order for us to unlock a better customer interaction and a better hospitality.
Excellent.
Sorry, could I add just one funny anecdote while we're talking about AI? So I don't know if people are aware, there's something called the Amazon, it was Amazon Ghost warehouses, where people could go, they would purchase everything else and just walk out. There was no checkout. And AIs were watching and they were seeing the things that you were buying and picking up, and automatically it was deducted from your account. And then later you come to know that the couple of Indians who are sitting in and, you know, going through your faces and recording, and they're doing all your typing. So then they said, okay, so AI wasn't artificial intelligence, it was all Indian.
Right, so we in Papa John's, we are big into tech. I'll tell you one small example of what we are about to do. We are starting our trials in this community called Serena. It's a Dubai Properties development. And we are soon introducing robots who will deliver pizza within the community. That should, we're going through the RT approval process. Soon it should be done. And I think in a month or so, if you live in Serena, look forward to a robot pulling up to your homes. But we just have a couple of minutes. Let me tell you about the secret recipe, at least at Papa John's. What we do in Papa John's is, in Papa John's UAE, Saudi, and Jordan, where we operate, we practice ROC and ABCD. Now, what's ROC? ROC is return of customer. I tell my teams, take such great care of every customer, every order, every transaction in such a way, and make the customer so happy, he only thinks of returning. And go ABCD, above and beyond the call of duty. If you go ABCD, ROC will naturally happen. And if you do ROC, ROI will take care of itself. Shareholders happy. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Wonderful. Please give our panelists a round of big applause. Thank you.
Well,